Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is Tuesday, the 24th of July, and we're going live. And I wanted to come in bang on 8 o'clock, and I did. I was bang on 8 o'clock, and then I realized that I didn't do some of the stuff that I was supposed to do. So I had to stop the video and then go back and start over the video at 8 minutes, at 1 minute past 8. So for the people who like to check my time, I'm late. So let me catch up, yeah? Share the video, please. Share the video, please. Bring everybody in.
Tell me what I'm fighting for. What I'm killing for. We don't need no more of that. Tell them wicked people. Fire go burn them.
Start it off.
Burn them. Oh God, I said this is the year for love. Fire go burn them. Fire go burn them. Still born when mother gone. Another one just gone. By a beach, you just a smile. Say you's a madman. Another young boy fall. You so careless that night. Oh, you's a bad man. Bad man is a man who steals from woman and protect the young ones by any means, lad. You ain't no bad man, boy, nah. You ain't no bad man. I ain't bad man that make those own decisions. You don't need anyone. You only need is God. You ain't no bad man, boy, nah. You ain't no bad man. Stop.
Sit down, rock back.
Tell them I don't need no strap to defend my people from wicked and evil. Oh, stop. Sit down, rock back. Big man look for a walk. You're too damn evil. If you distress my people, then fire go burn them. Fire go burn them. Oh God, I said this is the year for love. Fire go burn them. Fire go burn them. Still born when mother gone. Tell me what I'm fighting for. Killing for. We don't need no more of them. Don't need. So tell me what I'm fighting for. Killing for. We don't need no more of. I said we don't want no more of. I bad man to go and raping woman, influencing young ones to kill a boy now. You ain't no bad man, boy now. You ain't no bad man.
But some of them think there's bad men. Where to start? Tell me where to start, alright? So, tonight, TV6, One Caribbean Media, the 1%, gave, you all hear me talking about a political party they're trying to form. They throw 3 meetings and bust 3 times. They can't get no members. They have no plans and no policies, and like the PNM, they said they don't taking notes. They made an actual slogan out of our slogan. These people are no shame. WASA put out a temporary water supply schedule because, frig you, I want to tell you, every time somebody write me and tell me I cuss and talk too much, I just want to cuss more. WASA puts out a schedule to tell you, you're not on top of all the water that you don't get. This is also water that you're not going to get. So, yeah, deal with that. There are bigger things to deal with though. Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and the Australian connection. This is an analysis in Eurasia Review News and Analysis. Trinidad to the world. In late May 2018, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, made an official visit to Australia, where he spent 2 days visiting 2 of the country's shipbuilders, Incat and Austal. While the focus of his discussions with the shipyards was apparently the purchase of 2 fast ferries to meet the requirements of the Trinidad and Tobago Sea Bridge, he announced intentions to procure at least 1 Cape-class patrol boat from Austal, as well as plans to restore to service 6 non-operational Austal-built fast patrol craft that the PNM previously bought. The country's national security budget has been severely curtailed with an allocation of 7.625 billion being made in the 2016-2017 budget, being further reduced to 6.4 billion in the 2017-2018 budget. It is therefore questionable as to how Trinidad will fund this planned purchase of a new vessel. The shortage of funds has decimated the capability of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. with the Trinidad and Tobago Air Guard fleet of 4 AW139 helicopters being grounded since June 29, 2017. I could stop there. I could stop there and we could play music for the rest of the night. Where see? Let me play music for the rest of the night. Listen, man, party and fete, drink till your belly bust. We sent to buy new boats, new ships, but our 4 helicopters that was bought under the People's Partnership with money we couldn't afford to spend then, grounded now because Jackass 1 hand over to Jackass 2 and everybody done stuff the commission in the pockets, so find something else to buy. To ask with the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and if you want to make a complaint to the procurement regulator, you can't, because the procurement regulator can't investigate because of everything that has been proclaimed into law. The chapter, the verse, the section that deals with actual investigation has not been proclaimed. Restwood, because the 4 helicopters that's supposed to be burning circles in the sky that could at least give us an opportunity to look down, even though we can't do jack shit, because the People's Partnership bought helicopters that could do jack shit, but all of them big boys who sit down in Hyatt get the money and everybody get a kickback. This is P&M kickback time, so we don't have to use these helicopters to ask for that. Effectively squandering an investment. Hear us. The shortage of funds has decimated the capability of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, with the Trinidad and Tobago Air Guard fleet of 4 AW139 helicopters being grounded since June 29, 2017. Cocaine running across the border like locusts, you know. Them don't stop. Cocaine moving. And you see now, you will hear some more. Because when Reginald McLean tells Trinidad and Tobago, the Coast Guard park up in Chagaramas, people want to make excuse and they want to give reason why that might be so. But if the Coast Guard park up in Chagaramas and the helicopters grounded, what going on with the borders? Effectively squandering an investment of over $348 million in the acquisition of the helicopters and the training of personnel. This was entirely due to the fact that the government of Trinidad and Tobago decided that it could no longer afford the annual maintenance costs of the helicopters, amounting to US $29 million. As aerial surveillance was an important component of Trinidad's maritime security plans, the grounding of the helicopters, combined with the poor availability of the TT Air Guard's 2 C-26 fixed-wing aircraft, has led to severe deficiencies in the country's surveillance capabilities. Those are some very big freaking words to say, that we lie down, we back with legs wide open, do what you like. Do what you like. Run your human trafficking, run your guns. I see a man with gold chain all along by the belly buying Range Rover. I just buy a Nissan van from Massey, and the FIU went all up inside my colon and was looking for my appendix. I want to know what this gentleman had, and I would like to know, because Range Rover, buddy. Hey, you know what? If your business bubbling, bubble, bubble. But I hope everybody had to, anyway. This funding crisis has also adversely affected the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, listen to this, which is unable to pay for a regular supply of fuel for its vessels. Well, Jesus Christ, Lord Almighty, the country dead. Stop to whine.
Big man with the whole clan and his woman whining on all man and his iron and his unicorn and his tanka we come out to wine and never put time wine out of we mine us to the stop whining. Hands up as the legs up, people on the dung and on top of the junk and falling down, but we can't stop man, we whining until we trouble. We love to wine and never we smile on carnival time was telling us.
You can't stop the bacchanal. You can't stop it. This funding crisis has adversely affected the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. We have no eyes in the sky. The helicopters down, the planes down, no eyes in the sky. We could pay Jerome down in sea just to run up the coconut tree and scout. That used to be Jerome work long time. Jerome, Piro come in, send the police jeep out on the beach. Wait, stick up it. This funding has adversely affected the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. All who sit down there talking, appoint Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police and everything solved. It is that kind of blasted laziness that has led us to here. Jerome up in the coconut tree down on friggin' Cedros coastline is all that stands between us and a wave of friggin' Venezuelans. Because Jerome telling them when they reach, hey, show me your passport. That is your whole national security that you're spending $7.6 billion on, you know, that going in all kind of man pocket, not in the actual securing of the nation. This has meant that the formation lacks the ability to deploy its 8 large patrol vessels effectively and cannot conduct sustained operations even in Trinidad's coastal waters. We can't even put gas in the Coast Guard boat to sail around Trinidad. You know, you're on Maracas Beach there, you're looking at the girls in the boats passing right there inside the water. We can't afford that. But Rowley and Chochang and Faris and Rohan and Chinley and the boys up in Austral and in Cat spending money, buying boats, buying more boats, because they have land higher up on Goodwood Park. And the smaller your dick, the bigger your car had to be. You see what Columners drive? The smaller your dick, the higher up Goodwood Park your house had to be. This is where the people who think I just talk too rough need to switch me off. Because tonight, I ain't here playing a fighting for your vote. Tonight, again, we're here to wake you up. And all of these little dicks that are squandering your children and your grandchildren's future, if you're not pissed about that, and you're pissed about the way I bring it to you, you have a problem. It's like my partner who just come on the wall and write, Phil, what about so-and-so asking for a friend? Phil, what about so-and-so asking for a friend? I asked him the other night, I said, what's your real problem with your friend? He can't afford a phone to type a question for himself, or he just can't read. Because it sounds to me like he have bigger problems than what going on in my wall. I never see that post again asking for a freaking friend. All you're saying now outside there with all your sensibilities rub wrong, turn inside out. Turn inside out. The things all you're supposed to vex for, or you can't vex. But when real vex reach, what is Rowley boy? I want a boat. At most, limited deployments are undertaken by lone vessels, with other ships being operational but not sent to sea. That is like your fridge on, but you have no money to put food, but you're paying and take every month. This has led to crew deployments and rotation being severely affected. 4 of the country's patrol assets, the 46-meter coastal patrol vessel CG-21 and CG-22, as well as the 54-meter Damen FCS 5009 CG-23 and CG-24, are effectively non-operational despite being serviceable for want of assigned crews. Are effectively non-operational despite being serviceable for want of assigned crews. Even the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard largest vessel, the 79-meter Chinese-built CG-6, they have hiccups, is only marginally operational as only a skeleton crew is assigned to the ship. The entire maritime patrol burden is being borne by the 4 Damen Spar 5009 vessels, CG-25 to CG-28, which are the equivalent of metal hull pirogues, which are kept not only serviceable, but have full crews assigned to them. It should be noted that there is no manpower shortage in the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. While there are some deficiencies in the ranks of seagoing officers, occasioned in part by a reluctance of several mid-ranking officers to actually go to sea, that is, you join the Coast Guard but you don't go in the water, all ships can be operational with trained crews within existing resources. Therefore, it would seem that budgetary issues are the primary cause for the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard's operational deficiency. Take a wine. Ask Chinley, media, this is for all here. Ask Chinley for a comment on what I am about to read. In 2008, Trinidad contracted with Ostal for the purchase of 6 APB-30 patrol boats, each 30 meters long and displacing some 85 tons. The package included a 5-year comprehensive maintenance, don't get bored, it's going to get interesting soon, maintenance and support service program, which included scheduled plan and preventative maintenance support, unscheduled maintenance management and performance of annual surveys and maintenance periods, as well as shore-based engineering support. While this was fine in theory, in practice the Ostal APB-30s, which were delivered between 2009 and 2010, call him, but say, bro, our next boat purchase you make run aground, our next boat purchase you make sink. Every time you touch boat, it is costly and experience. The aluminum hulls of the vessels proved to be wholly inadequate for operation on the country's northern coast, and severe problems were experienced with marine growth. Between 2010 and 2015, the Ostal FBP-30s were the country's main maritime assets, and they were tasked with roles for which they were not designed, placing undue stress on their somewhat delicate construction. We bought warships that were delicately built. Rather more puzzling were persistent electronic failures with radar. Now you see, Kitos, me in your shoes as Prime Minister, this is the sabotage I'm looking for. When we're looking for the cocaine and the illegal US washing ashore in this country, because they have some businesses in this country, if you ask them how they get their money to buy their Mercedes Benzes and their Range Rovers, not just this little boy you see picture sharing all over Facebook, you know, and WhatsApp, they have some Syrian and white and Chinese, Indian, African, all kind of businessmen in this country driving some very expensive cars, and when you go and look at what the business is they're running, it don't match up, it don't line up at all. They have others that have been able to open branch after branch after branch, even though you go in the first store and they had 3 people sit down there. So it doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. But you're not going to, it's like 5 of the 16 corporations have had to grudgingly admit to me by letter signed by the CEO, now that they have been served with freedom of information requests, that no, Mr. Alexander, Kiss Baking Company, trading as Quelos, masquerading as an entrepreneur support, has been breaking the law. They have no permission, they cannot vend legally because that itself is against the law. But Kamala and Keith would never have dealt with that because Bermudez is a 1%, and instead of dealing with Bermudez and say, hey dog, you're breaking the law, they are pointing to run the university. Like the newest course in business is going to be how to evade paying rent for bakeries. That is going to be a course in UE, and I'm waiting for them to come because I want to see Bermudez himself in court. I want to bring Rene de Gans to explain to the judge who came up with the plan to illegally vent, to put these little suffering children in danger, park them up out in the elements, in traffic, in carbon monoxide outside genuine, authentic entrepreneur bakeries, fighting to pay their rent and keep the lights on. Now you tell me tonight, Phil, pack it in now. We like it so. We want the country to be a shithole. We happy up to we neck in manure. What is your problem? Why it is you have, and listen, you tell me that and I done. All the way, take a wine.
This season is one is a full cup and it's fine. And if they tell me stuff, we go deep. And every man, woman and child is gone out to one. Wine is not gonna tell wine is a
we ain't done yet, you know.
mine. I tell you now, why can't stop it. Never trying to stop the jamming. The noise they making, I feel shaking. Too much shaking and nothing happening. We not stopping at all. Come out to wine. Wine is festival time. Time wine out of your mind.
They can't stop the bacchanal. Curious procurement plan. Prime Minister Rowley, as part of his post-trip press conference, announced that an hostile team would be visiting Trinidad to evaluate the 6 hostile APB-30s and 4 derelict fast ferries with a view to reporting on the state of the vessels and offering suggestions to getting them operational. While there would be nothing objectionable in principle in restoring the APB-30s to service, one must question the priority. You see, when you ask a critical thinking question, it has sent shockwaves through the establishment, because the sons of bitches sat down there thinking that all of us was going to let Keith Rowley appoint Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police without asking Keith a question or two. But come back to this, we're dealing with that. While there would be nothing objectionable in principle in restoring the APB-30s to service, one must question the priority accorded to this project, while the rest of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, I think I was just channeling Patrick Manning, I heard it, fleet, while the rest of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard fleet languishes for a lack of fuel, and questions would need to be asked regarding crew availability to provide manpower for the vessels and their maintenance. We buying boats that we can't put gas in, that we can't operate, that we don't have sailors for, to park up alongside boats that we don't have money to put gas in, that we don't have sailors for. So it's stunt after stunt after stunt. It's thief after thief after thief. This entire PNM government is a thiefocracy. Everything Rowley touch, he and all his friends, is a bunch of bandits, a criminal conspiracy. And if Trinidad and Tobago do not fire this bunch of mocking pretenders, they're going to sink this country. Hear what I tell you. Whining season conclusion, politics or purpose. In Trinidad's perpetually highly charged political environment, you have to pay attention to this. This is where you come in. This is where what you accept as bullshit from Hemaram Kisoon in the morning and Riatate in the evening, what Desha Rambachan and Goldali Bruce, the bullshit that they sell the nation, this is where you come in. Critical thinking is supposed to take the place of, please serve me my bullshit, my bib is on and I am ready. Listen to this. In Trinidad's perpetually highly charged political environment, facts and analysis often take second place to rhetoric in respect of any issue of national security, and none more with issues involving material procurement. While Prime Minister Rowley cannot be faulted for wanting to restore the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard's 6 APB-30s to operational status, it is odd. Hear the choice of words? Odd. It is odd. Courts like these kind of words. You say another word, they think it's defamation. This, they can slip past this. It is odd that little effort, again, Courts love these kind of words. Is being made to provide funding for fuel, for gas, for oil, for the Trinidad and Tobago's Coast Guard existing serviceable ships. Given the fact that Trinidad will have to pay to restore the APB 30s to service, plus pay for the Cape class vessel, questions must be asked as to whether there is any purpose to this procurement or if it is mere political posturing. Wine for them, Rowley. Wine.
Hey, 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 yeah!
Mentality, send Island Finance in your ass. Take a whole year to pay for the costume you wear this year. For 2 days, you're children, you're complaining because you can't afford milk, you can't afford bread. You're using Pampers with one tape and you're putting masking tape. But carnival. Anyway, that's our next conversation. If it wasn't for Garth Christopher and Stephen Reese, Garth Christopher operates a radio show in the Gillett family. Lindsay Gillett, UNC, Ian Gillett, PNM. He operates a radio show and he'll bust his throat at any time. And I say in this, God Almighty, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, all the above, thank you for social media. Because I want to tell you something. Were it not for Garth Christopher on Power 102, Robert Amar on 104.7, thank God he owned his own radio station, and Stephen Reese on Synergy TV Breaking Dawn, Trinidad would have no media. There is none. There is nothing like media. And when I raise issues in the public space, Robert Amar, Garth Christopher, and Stephen Reese takes it further. I want you to hear what Stephen Reese did with this morning. Because up to yesterday, everybody thought everything was ship safe and we were okay.
On the 10th, an email goes from to Jerry Griffith at hotmail.com, whoever that is. And it says, we have a problem. Things are getting heated. We need access to taps in the DPP office. Oh, yeah. I want to know his next move.
According to Rowley, standing on his feet in the People's Parliament, Anand Ramlogan wrote an email to Captain Gary Griffith at hotmail.com. Now, I have 100 million email exchanges between me and Gary. And unless it is possible for there to be two Captain Gary Griffith at hotmails.com, one of these two people here know what Rowley's saying here, if it's fact or bullshit. Both quiet. But now that it looks like Keith Rowley wants to appoint Gary Commissioner of Police, I want Keith Rowley to retract and recant what he said about Gary. This has nothing to do whatsoever with Gary's capabilities and performance. This has to do with what Keith Rowley said Gary Griffith did. Keith Rowley said that Gary Griffith responded to Anand Ramlogan's request to illegally wiretap the Director of Public Prosecution's office so that Anand could keep a tab on what the DPP was doing.
Mr. Speaker, I want to repeat this because I don't expect them on the other side to do other than what they're doing now. I simply want to repeat it. We have a problem. Things are getting heated. I need access to taps in the DPP office. I want to know what his next is how soon can you arrange? And of course the captain, whoever he is, Captain Gary Griffith.
You're hearing Keith Rowley, his voice, his words, indicting Gary Griffith.
Replies 7 minutes later.
Saying that Gary replied 7 minutes after Annan sent that email.
I will call SSA and get B. Just bear in mind the head of the SSA is Bismarck Mirage. This email coming from whoever Gary Griffith captain is to whoever Annan says, I will call SSA and get B.
Let me tell you something. Keith Rowley just accused Gary of treason. Keith Rowley just accused a political appointee, Gary Griffith, who is Kamala Persad-Bissessa's national security advisor, of corrupting the country's national security secret service, the spy agency, the SSA, and turning it on Trinidad and Tobago's justice system and law enforcement to protect the politicians in the UNC and the People's Partnership from having to pay the consequences of their criminality. This is what Keith Rowley is saying Gary Griffith is capable of. Keith Rowley cannot appoint Gary Griffith as the Commissioner of Police over the 5,000 men and women in Trinidad and Tobago Police Service if Keith Rowley thinks Gary Griffith is capable of treason. And if Keith Rowley does that, the nation in trouble. And if Keith Rowley recants, because that is the only way he can appoint Gary, he has to undo the shit he did. It is he that said it. And Keith Rowley has to call a press conference and say to the nation, everything that I said on the 20th of May 2013 was bullshit. It was a lie. It was an entire fabrication created by me and others to attempt to overthrow the democratically elected government of the day. Immediately after that press conference, ironically, the same DPP, Roger Gaspard, is going to have to pick up his telephone and call Stephen Williams and send him to arrest Keith Rowley and charge him with treason. Ironically. And that's just a start. And to launch an investigation into all who might be involved in the conspiracy. And this is where we would reach. The Speaker of the House, despite being a PNM appointee, would be mandated by law to ban Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, from the Parliament for life. For life. That would be the instant response. Now your Prime Minister is arrested and charged. He is banned from the House of Representatives, ostensibly revoking his right as a member of Parliament, forcing a by-election in Diego Martin West. But more importantly, he's the Prime Minister. It collapses the whole government unless Keith transfers to Faris. Now, I don't know if the law would allow him to transfer to Faris. And I don't know if Johnny Sukaran free and clear too. Because Johnny Sukaran, also known as Faris Al-Rawi, has been the one, you know how one is the God and one is the prophet? Like Faris is John the Baptist. Faris walking through town. Faris walking through town, ringing his bell, ripping his sackcloth and showing his ashes for everybody to see. That Keith Rowley is absolutely right. That this is what Faris Al-Rawi, who sits and drinks in trotters with Gary and the rest of them. You saw the pictures on Facebook. I am making this up. This is what Faris Al-Rawi thinks of Gary. These politicians full of absolute shit, you know. I mean, I'm not joking when I tell you, they're full of absolute shit because this is what Johnny Sukaran go to our next location, you could kiss my ass like Faris. I promise you that. Listen, Johnny Sukaran, also known as Faris Al-Rawi, he might tell me, Faris get vexed the day I came on her show in the morning and exposed to Trinidad that Faris' father was in Saddam Hussein's Republican Guard. He used to teach them karate. But anyway, back on this. Faris liming with Gary and telling Trinidad that Gary and Kamala and Suruj and Anand they conspired, among other things, to dirty the name of a journalist, conspired Suruj Rambachan and others actually talking about making plans for this woman that everybody assumed to be, well, I mean, I don't think they were trying to have a birthday party for her. The exchanges that are read as email gate are so damning that it is insane that neither Kamala nor Keith Rowley are in jail tonight. One of them should be either Anand or Faris. One of them should be either the accused or the accuser. It cannot be that these sons of bitches traumatized this nation the way they did, and this could just go away. And the man who accused Gary Griffith, the man who accused him, and I'm saying this to try to make it clear, I still have high regard for Gary. I know now, he can't be happy that I am changing the national narrative where he is concerned. Gary is a consummate politician. You see the people who talk this bullshit about Gary not politics? I'll tell Trinidad and Tobago something. Gary Griffith is possibly the best politician in the strictest sense of the word in this country. Gary Griffith has mastered the art of mending fences and building bridges, even with people he don't like. Even with people he don't like. You don't notice nobody have a bad word to say about Gary. Some of the people who, when Gary had first got appointed, they had the worst things to say about this boy. Kamala bringing the janitor. She run out of people to appoint. They used to laugh at him, how he talk, how he dress. Everything was a joke. Garrulous Gary. And over the course of that 14 months, Gary turned everybody into fans and supporters. The boy is a brilliant politician, wasting his time trying to get to be commissioner of police. Wasting his time, in my opinion. Gary could become prime minister of this country by networking alone. Gary is the only man that I see activists from all sides don't touch. Besides Rudal. But Rudal had HTC. Gary never had money to spend. Rudal had HTC and could give out contracts to people who otherwise would have bad talk him. And I found it surprising that neither Munilal nor Warner, two Kabbalists, when all that shit, and I have said this publicly, when that much shit was going on with Emailgate, the two most important men in Trinidad and Tobago at the time, I want you to remember, this was back to the time when Kamala used to be riding on the backs of trucks, sipping vodka with a sash. She was nobody's prime minister. She was sleeping in these people's house who sell oil in Curep. She wasn't the prime minister. She didn't know how to do it, and nobody was taking her on. Jack Warner and Munilal was running the country. The two most important people in Trinidad and Tobago at the time of Emailgate was Jack Warner and Rudal Munilal. And I find it, and I have always said, I found it odd. I want to borrow that word. Odd, surprisingly odd, that of all the people named, because Gary was the Minister of National Security. When Kamala used to step off the helicopter, Gary used to be there holding the umbrella, Barry Padarat used to be there holding her bag, and Sasha Mohammed used to be behind her with a pad and a pen. Tell me what to say, and I saying it. Go Paul, that's it exactly. That was that. They were pretending to be government while Rudal and Jack ran the country. So when something as serious as Emailgate came up, you don't find it odd in all the back and forth that Rowley read, not one of those emails went to Jack. Nobody thought to say, Jack boy, see what's going on? You think about this, Jack? Nobody. I find that odd. Nobody thought to ask Monilal. Rudy Boy. We in deep. Suruj, Ramlogan, Kamla, not even Gary. Nobody. And that's what made me think that it was bullshit from the start. Because you couldn't have email gate take place in that government. Knowing what I know about that government, you couldn't have email gate take place and Rudal Monilal and Jack Warner be out of the loop. That is an aside. That's a side note. Because I know it by rote, I know it by heart. I have all the pages saved and separated in case. I have seen the government information website drop an entire release about me solving the Diego Martin Highway. But Google still have all the links and all of the descriptions and all of the pictures that leads you to the one section of the government information website missing the story. And because it's a story about me. These jackasses, these little dicks that you voted into office, these contemptuous fools, these kings and queens of deceit, these infidels and liars and double-tongued deceivers, this who you all put. This who you all put. And some of you all thinking that if not them, that other side, that capable of that kind of madness. How could you, Trinidad and Tobago, asking you, if you're not actively working to take your whole brood, sell your shit and get out, how could you plod along day by day in this country?
Gampat is out of the country. He would be against this move. You know he leaks. Now, Mr. Speaker, checks have shown that Officer Gampat was in fact out of the country at that time, at particular time. And the B, in our interpretation, is we have to be SSA. Now our response comes to him almost immediately by another email. I, which is the Annan, whoever that is, I gave instructions to send him Germany for 2 weeks. I want someone to monitor DPP for this week. He made some statements. Cast your mind back, Mr. Speaker, to what was being said in and around the office of the DPP at this time. Mr. Speaker, lo and behold, another email comes up. And this one comes again from whoever the captain is to whoever Aaron is. And he says to him, and bear in mind there was a request for access to tax in the DPP office. This one says, everything is already in place in DPP office. Nothing is out of the ordinary yet. In other words, I haven't to report yet, but things are in place. Spoke with PM, and she is furious. I don't know who he's referring to. I don't know who PM is, but she might be somebody we know. But the email says, spoke with PM, and she is serious about the article. Serious about the article. What about the reporter? Tableau as well? This is the Griffith, who is referred to here, whoever that is, asking the Annan if he should tag the reporter. Guardian says she has a copy of Lewis's advice and is just toying with you. She does have someone in the U.S. Embassy and is asking questions. Last time we checked, she contacted Counselor to the Attorney General Channing Phillips. Do you think someone there is feeding her?
Now I want you to understand what I am saying. Keith Rowley said all of this on the 20th of May 2013. The 20th of May 2013. 5 years ago. For all of those 5 years, Keith Rowley and Faris Al-Rawi have said that Emailgate is factual, substantive, and true. This is Keith Rowley saying that Gary Griffith responded to Annan Ramlogan in the affirmative, that he organized to illegally wiretap the Director of Public prosecution's office, and everything is in place.
Next email from the Annan, and it goes like this. That effing more don't have S on it. More than likely, she called Thomas at the embassy. This is whoever that person is, the Annan, panicking that a Guardian reporter might have a source at the embassy, and this Thomas referred to here is Thomas Smitham, who is the charge of affairs at the embassy in the absence of another U.S. ambassador. He believes that she's talking to Thomas there. And he instructs the Griffith, whoever that is, do a trace on her. Every reporter has skeletons in the closet.
This is Annan Ramlogan using Gary Griffith as a thug. This is Annan Ramlogan sending Gary Griffith to find skeletons on Denise Wren. It is time to discredit her. This is what Keith Rowley is saying Gary Griffith is capable of. Keith Rowley, who is now your Prime Minister, and his Attorney General, Faris Al-Rawi, have repeatedly told the nation that Gary Griffith did these things.
And posted to our Facebook people.
Now when he says Facebook people, it's Marcia Brave Boy, Stark, they just employ Stark. So a fellow called Alan Karim and about 15 Chunilal, all kind of different fake profile, Ravi Balgobin Mirage. They have a Potong attack squad. They're good at it.
Find out how the F she quoted from something she has no access to. I want this by this evening, and I want to know who is the source. Mr. Speaker, interestingly enough, this is the content of that email. And almost...
So hear me now. Questions have to be asked of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Do you stand by your scathing attack, heinous accusations, obscene allegations made against Gary Griffith? Do you stand by that? That question has to be asked. And we need to know, going forward, if Keith Rowley really believes those things. Now the PNM's mission now, they've offloaded hell. 15 fake profiles for the day so far have had to be blocked. We're getting messages and WhatsApps about be careful how you're moving, where you're going, people watching, all kind of bullshit I have to take to do this for my country. And I want you to know that I was supposed to run a one-man protest outside the Prime Minister's office today, but security people told me, stand down. Stand down. I ain't giving you no more information. I have no more information. They said, stand down. And I did. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a fool. If they get information. But anyway, for there to be any kind of appointment of Gary Griffith to the post of Commissioner of Police, I want you to picture the 5,000 men and women of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. I want you to picture them. And you coming to tell them, this is your new boss. That we, the government, have accused of conspiracy to commit treason, murder, destabilize the justice system. That is what Keith Rowley has accused Gary Griffith of. Keith Rowley said that Gary Griffith admitted that he did these things. Going forward from here, Trinidad and Tobago, going forward from here, we need a statement from Keith Rowley. Now that Gary Griffith is the last man standing, now that he is the last man standing, we need clarity from the Prime Minister in a statement that he did not mean the things he said, and that he apologizes to Gary Griffith for scandalizing his name. That is the only way forward for Gary Griffith. Gary Griffith himself needs to put out a statement distancing himself from Keith Rowley and Faris Al-Rawi and those heinous allegations made against him. Because I've tired tell Gary in the past, these people rubbing the back of your neck and pissing in your pocket. But Gary is an ambitious guy and he's a fool. And he will take that shit to get that post. That's Gary. I don't have that kind of belly. I don't tell Faris, all your mother so and so by now. When I tell you, I despise that smarmy, slimy son of a bitch. Johnny Sukaran, Faris Al-Rawi, is one of the most disgusting elements to pass through a parliament that has had a rogues gallery pass through it. But you vote for bullshit, so you get bullshit. Take that. Going forward, for there to be any debate on a nomination where Gary Griffith is concerned, Keith Rowley and Faris Al-Rawi have to retract and recant and say that all of Emailgate was bullshit. Because you can't just pull Gary out of the conspiracy, because then all you have is emails of Anand talking to himself. From the moment you pull Gary out of that conspiracy, all you have is Anand Ramlogan waxing warm to himself. So the PNM would have to determine if it is worth their while to have Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police, because I know Keith Rowley, jackass extraordinary, and I waited on him and I baited him and I told the PNM, appoint Gary, and I sell him that, and he buy it hook, line and sinker. And now he paint himself in a corner, because the only way they could appoint Gary is if they recant and retract Emailgate. And the moment they do that, Keith Rowley needs to be charged for treason. Make no mistake. That's where we are. In Trinidad and Tobago, that is where we are. What are we doing from there? That is up to all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That is up to all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. What we do from this, PNM funding a little party named PACT, run by a guy trying to sell some kind of IT bullshit to the government of Trinidad and Tobago. They're still looking for friends. Ignore that shit. Stand firm with the only political party in this country that is demonstrating to you a capacity to bring all manner of wrongdoers to justice even before we see office. Stand up, Trinidad and Tobago. You have a chance. You have an opportunity. Do not waste it. Do not let it slip out of your hands.
Witness an orchestra, a bang, bang, bang of only politicians, rated their performance and style, talent and endurance, a bang, bang, bang of parliamentarians. Politics that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate, bridges replaced by gates. Multiculturalism, Political symphony. Stop taking it cool. Don't be played for a fool. They're using race as a tool to divide, conquer, and rule. Just like a bull, the race that they always pull.
You see, now you think that this may be limited to one side. A 10-year study audit was done on one of the special purpose companies created by Patrick Manning to sidetrack the tenders process so that people in government could thief. And the audit on Sport TT, which did not include live sport, which was a madness by itself, has been released. In December 2014, a special audit into the operations of the sports company of Trinidad and Tobago, done by the Office of the Auditor General, found hundreds of millions that were paid out over the years by the company for incomplete sporting facilities, escalated costs, unjustified expenses for high capital projects, wasted millions on recreation grounds, duplications, and a history of expensive litigation relating to staff. The report painted a damning picture of the Special Purposes State Enterprise, which had been set up in 2004 under the PNM to facilitate the implementation of sport policy and remains in operation to this day. The Auditor General found a total of $411 million was spent from 2009 to 2013 on sporting facilities meant to provide sport for all, but that purported goal had not been achieved. $2.3 billion in projects under the management of Sport TT had no sound means of measuring progress on its objectives, gaps in its records, and had committed reporting breaches. $7.5 million in legal and other costs arose from one mass cull of staff in 2011. In 5 of 9 cases, Sport TT has no record of its contracts with the litigants, although all the terminated staff have their contracts in their possession. In one litigation matter the company lost, a former employee was awarded $90,000, though the employee worked less than a day at Sport TT.
Vocalists have sore throat, keyboard is playing wrong note in this band of serial politicians. Their lyrics not rhyming, some have no sense of timing. This band of parliamentarians. Safely go for the powerless, promoting the cause of justice, our democracy and risk. When the section called to the fore, music hurt to the core, who are rich we saw. So impure with the UNC and the VNM and the COP and the political symphony. It's a symphony. VOP, MSJ and JSC and the political symphony. It's a corruption rebuff.
Say enough is enough.
The system will always fail.
What's the big fish not making jail?
Integrity.
No morality. And again, we come back to this. When you, as a citizen, decide to not vote or to give your vote to corrupt politicians, what you do is you open yourself and the nation to corruption on a massive scale that has been the order of the day for the past 56 years. This country has had boom after boom after boom. Driving from San Fernando, someone pointed out to me in my car that every single boom that has taken place in the world, Trinidad benefited from. We benefited from all. Cocoa, sugar, oil and gas. Trinidad benefited from all. We should have trillions of dollars saved. Instead, what we have are some stunting jackasses as a 1%. And it is not just the 1% Syrians in Goodwood Park. They have the 1% Indians in Valsale and other places. You make a wrong turn in Trinidad and you stumble upon castles, you know. Things that would make Ireland and England shocked. That we, little Trinidad and Tobago, there are people in this country, they put out their little videos about the garage and what they have inside the garage that they can't explain. They can't explain it. We have had, you have to understand, it is not a failure of the government to rein in the criminals, you know. It's that the government has been in bed with the criminals from day one.
Of notorious politicians, while Dr. Kubla singing is noise making and doing from this bang of parliamentarians. Like a cult pushing one head, singing songs of harmless and dread, wishing for people to dead. With a big greater crowd audience, complimentary to cause disturbance and striking performance. Arrogance, you can sing the C-O-P-E-D, political symphony, it's a symphony, G-O-P, MSG, and J-C-M-D, political symphony, it's a symphony.
I have members, supporters, followers all around the world. My information is not made up by me. I am given information regularly, like this, while we're talking tonight. Heard you speaking about time frame for judges in cases. This is New York Penal Code 18080. Basically, we are given 10 days from arrest to present, present evidence to the DA to support a charge. If somehow that evidence is inconclusive or inadmissible, the defense puts forward a motion to dismiss and have her client released. People have been fired for this because murderers in the past have walked based on cops and officers' negligence in getting evidence and starting the process of a case. When they walk, the mayor calls the police commissioner. The commissioner calls the chief of department, who then calls the captain of the precinct, which the arrest is made. Basically, the blame game comes down to the arresting officer and evidence control, who then will be disciplined by suspension or termination, depending on how much press the case generates. This is Penal Code 18080. Then you have to answer to the Internal Affairs Bureau why this process took so long and convince them that you did not have a personal interest in this case being thrown out because of your negligence. Besides being fired, if they investigate and find that you took a bribe or that you knew the person or had some material interest, instead of them going to jail, you go in. That's how you run a country.
Check out the crime rate, the violence in flame, the bandits yes split, yet the legend is the one thing. Every night is awake, each one must be dead.
Kitos and Kamla, the game continues today. And I want to say, I am tired of people telling me, Phil, we ain't getting your posts, we ain't getting notification of your lives. I know they're jamming me all out. I mean, I know you could see it. There have times that's beyond my computer. I type for about 3 minutes, nothing on the screen, and then all the words type themselves. I know I see the delay in my own phone. I know. But anyway, what you have to do is, when you come on my profile and you see the part where they see the word friends or add friend, they have a little arrow. Click on it and highlight following and highlight get news feed, because that is the only way to guarantee that it can't be blocked. It'll come straight to your news feed when we post. I want you all to stop sharing this information with this Silots guy on the Range Rover. They have other people with Range Rovers. I want to know where they get the money from, and they may live in Silots. Keith Rowley, have you retracted email gate as yet? Or do you and Faris Al-Rawi still believe that Gary Griffith corrupted the SSA and illegally wiretapped and monitored the Director of Public Prosecutions? Do you both still believe that Gary spread lies on journalist Denise Wren for UNC sycophants to pass off as fact on Facebook? Keith Rowley, do you still believe that Gary Griffith was part of a conspiracy to destabilize the justice system and to commit murder? Tell the nation, Keith, because Gary could duck and run and hide from these questions, but the nation has a right to know, especially when we're talking about the appointment of a commissioner of police. I want Nikki Board, who lines in trotters, who wants to assassinate my character every time she see me. Nikki, you see me? The difference between me and you and people like you, I don't make friends for profit. If I stand for something, I stand on integrity and morality and ethics, things that people like you will never understand. Keep posing, keep stunting, keep talking your shit. It'll get you nowhere. And at the end of your days, when you look back on it, all you would have to account for is the things that you did. I know what I do with my life. There are questions we need to ask people in Trinidad and Tobago. We need to ask them, and we can't stop asking them. How the media works in a real country. Right now that I bust this mark yesterday, 10 o'clock yesterday morning, how the media works in a real country. At every opportunity, a microphone would be shoved in either Keith Rowley or Faris Al-Rawi's face. Mr. Prime Minister, you accused Mr. Griffith of serious crimes in 2013, crimes that do not go away. I watch Bill Clinton sitting down between Yasser Arafat and the president of Israel, I think it was Netanyahu, and I watched Bill Clinton sit down between the two of them, bringing peace to the Middle East in the White House, and the entire media waiting for them to stop talking. And the first question is, Mr. President, is there any truth that Monica Lewinsky may have a dress with your DNA on it? In other words, fire truck the stunt. In other words, keep your bullshit. We the people deserve answers. That's how real media works. like conspiracy to commit treason, to pervert the SSA and illegally wiretap the office of the DPP, to harm the journalist and scandalize her name with untruths, of being part of a vast majority to conspiracy to murder. Now you support the same man for commissioner of police. How do you reconcile those inconsistencies, Prime Minister? Mr. Attorney General, up to late last year, you've been on record saying that every claim made against the 4 persons by the Prime Minister, then opposition leader Keith Rowley, in the email gate fiasco was true, which had to include the former National Security Advisor to Kamala Prasad predecessor, Gary Griffith, who was accused of several breaches of serious law and criminal misconduct. Now your government seems to be supporting him to be the top law enforcement officer in the land. Can you explain that? Or to Gary Griffith himself, how do you feel having the cloud of accusations made against you by Keith Rowley as a permanent stain on your reputation? Do you not agree that before he can support you for any public office, he should first recant and retract the serious allegations he made against you? But this is not a real country. In this country, we sell bullshit like we sell weed and seed. Everything is for shits and giggles. Nothing is supposed to be taken seriously except bullets and pink slips. In TNT, the Prime Minister could dirty your name and call you the worst of offenders when it suits his purposes, and then appoint you to high public office when that need arises, and the media don't ask a question. Until we, the people, demand better from these mocking pretenders, nothing will change. And the media? Well, if you want fish, go to the fishmonger. If you want meat, go to the butcher. If you want high-sounding lies designed to fool you, there is Guardian, Express, and Newsday. No, we are not a real country, but we could be. When last week did this? We have a poll running right now on my page about the beard. Now, I was supposed to be on a break, and for the duration of the break, I said I would grow the beard. So I'm testing it. Some people love it, and some people hate it. Janice, our PRO, tell me I'm looking like a drunken sailor. But I try to keep it neat. I mean, but I grow a beard, because I've never actually had a beard. And to be honest, the ladies kind of liking it, so we're going and see what happens from there. But if you have an opinion on the beard, there's a poll on my profile page. Should I shave or should I grow?
If it is that who you're voting, baby, you're not out. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the proven to be your full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change should come about. Just as how you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they can see, vote them out.
Guys and girls, behave.
If they are the reason why the economy goes round, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the passing laws that them alone can block, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the building ISIS, east, west, north and south, they say where you vote them in. Vote them out. Register and vote them out. Totally vote them out. Stay no finger and vote them out. Rescue the country. Vote them out. Vote them out with 10 vote. They happy and paid. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out with Calypso and joyous refrain. Let's put our country together again.
This Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, acting political leader Felicia Holder and acting chair Richard Blaze together with deputy chair Sean Sunarine will be hosting a meet and greet. I will be there at 12 noon. This is a call out for people who would like to join any of the committees or teams. We have many different teams and organizations within the party. We have a party organization, build out team, communications, and communications, a very big team. We're launching radio and a TV presence. That's coming. Anybody who would like to be involved in helping build the PEP, this Saturday at noon is a good time to come. And if you want a better country, and if you just want to ask questions, I mean, we're looking at the PNM and the UNC, and the UNC, the PEP says something today and the UNC says it tomorrow. So they're just one step behind us. And the PNM say now they're trying to sanitize our plans and policies and make it appear as their own. The country in trouble, and you all know it in trouble. And if you continue voting PNM UNC, you go sink this boat. You have a choice, you have an opportunity. I want to tell you something, by the time we're done, we would have demonstrated to you how you control the narrative of a country, how you set the people on a right path, how you break. Listen, the truth of the matter is, if you want a better country, now is the time. Now is the absolute time. Do not wait. Do not waste it. Jean-Claude, I want to ask you all to step back a bit and focus on what we're really doing here, because I know you're having fun, but you might inadvertently end up trolling the wall when you're supposed to be protecting it from trolls. How ironic is that?
If it is fabrication, these statements like this power, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is a frustration, that's make you want to shout. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. Before they misuse out, before they sell out and mix out. If it's you who vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. All of them, vote them out.
over the next couple of weeks, we are working on opening the first satellite office in San Fernando. That's on the front burner. So any of you who are San Fernando members who would like to be part of the build out of the San Fernando office, come to the meeting this Saturday if possible, please. It would be very nice to have you there. We want to build a San Fernando management team. We have two ladies, Gemma and Rhonda, who come up from San Fernando every Saturday. So I know if they could, you could too. Come to the meeting. Lyndon Mack, could you put yourself on a boat or a plane and find yourself in the meeting this Saturday, please? We would like to have a conversation with you.
If it is that injustice is what they always show, when you're voting, vote them wrong, vote them wrong. If it is that avarice is all they seem to know, when you're voting, vote them wrong, vote them wrong. If it is that politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come,
All bandits must go.
register and vote them wrong. If they can see, say your finger and show them no mercy. Put them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's take our country together again.
I want you to hear this. A time will come. History will ask. Future generations will ask of us. Will ask of me. Will ask of you. What did you do when they were assaulting, plundering and pillaging and destroying our nation? What did you do? Be able to answer. Be able to answer. We have 600 peppers based outside that don't stop working for this country. And they escape massa plantation. They're in first world nations, living fantastic lives. I ain't talking about green card hiders, you know. I'm talking about people living real good lives, and they're still looking back here to try and rescue Trinidad and Tobago. We who here have a responsibility and a mission. Joke is joke, but damn joke ain't no joke. And where this country reach right now is a frightening place to be. These people playing the ass with everything. And you have to start realizing that name and title don't mean jack shit when it's jackasses in the office. You could put lipstick on a pig. Lipstick and a dress on a pig, but all you'll end up with is a well-dressed pig. This, what going on in this parliament, this cabinet, this government, is a pack of pigs. It is a holy mess. We are in trouble as a nation. That is our parliament. Those offices are our offices. Read your constitution. We hire them. We could fire them. It is time for you to wake up. Those of you who don't know, we are organizing a candlelight vigil called 10,000 candles. We are going to light a candle and say the name of every person in this country who has lost their lives due to murder. We will call the names of all the people who lost their lives due to recklessness on the mismanaged roads. We will call the names of the people who died due to the malpractice and mismanagement of public health. We have to stand together as a people. We have to protect this nation from all of the madness that is taking place in the name of leadership. This is not leadership. This is insanity. Trinidad and Tobago, we have a responsibility. All of us, you and me, we have a responsibility. We could rest and have a good time after, but we need to fix it. We need to save it. Everything that should be making your life better is being stolen. It is being stolen by prime ministers and their cabinets. It is being stolen by a corrupt and diseased business class. It is being stolen by an unethical professional class, lawyers and accountants who swear oath and come to cut your throat. You have to decide. Do we all pack up and leave and let them thief it? Or do we fight to save it? It is a handful of bullshit artists. It is a handful of con men in the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce. It is a handful of deviants in the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. It is a handful of miscreants masquerading as professionals You have to decide. What do you want to leave for your children? If you want a better country, now is the time. And if you're ready, we're ready. Buy your candles, stand by, because this is the first in a list of protests. The Progressive Empowerment Party is not like the rest of these bullshit parties forming to join up and link up when election come to get contract. Them days done. Them days done. By the time 2020 election reach, we would have dealt with the ambulance company, with kiss baking company. We would have dealt with a lot of what is going on in the public space right now. We have information on actual public office holders who are supposed to be protecting the nation's purse and are not doing their jobs, and we are going to serve them with legal letters. It is time now that we, the people of Trinidad, stood up in defense of our country and rescued it. If you want a better nation, now is the time. This Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. See you then. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.